Welcome back to Practical Parenting, the podcast that helps empower parents in the trenches, find joy in the process, and thrive through it all. I'm Christina Wales, here with my co-host, Dr. Terry Nguyen, Chair of Pediatrics at GBMC Healthcare, and we are on our Microdose numero dose, addressing anxiety at bedtime. So this is sort of a supplement to our podcast on sleep, and we're going to be talking about kids who have anxiety around bedtime. It creeps up, we start asking questions, we're starting thinking all the thoughts. I think we as parents probably do that. I think my mind runs amok right before bed, which is so convenient. So what are some things maybe we can teach our children, and maybe even we can do to sort of soothe our anxiety at bedtime?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is really do things that are relaxing to you and calming, whether that is listening to music, maybe listening to a meditation or a guided imagery that puts you into a calm mode. Okay. And music for some people can also drift them off into a calm mode. But then that racing mind, sometimes no matter how much relaxation techniques you do, the mind is racing and the mind is buzzing, and you can't, it's like it's clinging on to something, right? And it won't let go. You can't disengage it, like open the claws. Mm-hmm. So for that, I would really recommend writing it out. I call it the mind dump, and write out every thought. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just write it out on a piece of paper, and or you can write it in a journal, and set aside 15 minutes every night to do this. So it's really the routine. Remember, we talked about the routine. So this is my mind dump or my relaxation routine before bed. And I love routines because it reminds our body, oh, when I have this sensation or have this smell, or if I'm doing this activity, it is reminding my body to relax, right? So writing it out. And for some younger children, they might want to draw, right? Mm-hmm. Use their creativity to draw it out, whatever their thoughts are, whatever their fears are. And if for the younger children who have real fears of monsters lurking in their rooms, let's do a monster check every night as part of our relaxation routine. Let's check in the closet. Let's check in the drawers. You can even make it fun and make like a list so you can check it off every night, right? On one of those erasable boards. Mm-hmm. So by night, and you can check under the bed. Check under the bed sheets. Okay, check, check, check. We're good. Okay, we can engage in the sleep. Okay, and then if your child needs you to be in there with them, their fear is separation anxiety from their parent. What I would encourage doing is kind of the camping out method of be in the room with them, but really not engaging, okay? It's just you're there as kind of a security for them that, you're not leaving them, and you can move further away from them. Like first you're sitting right by their bed, then in the next couple of nights you sit a little bit further and further until you're outside of the room, okay? This takes time. This takes like 2 weeks at least, but that's also a way to help your child ease out of needing your physical presence in the room. But the other thing that I thought of is that you're kind of their security blanket. So let's give a replacement security object, okay? That could be a blanket, something that reminds them of you, okay? I hope they don't need a picture of you, but
no. What I was just thinking. So, I must have heard this someplace. I know I didn't think of it because it's too good of a strategy. But what if you if I said to my kid, "Oh, I'm go to sleep. I'm going to leave a picture of a heart for you in the morning." So then they know that you've sort of been there while they're asleep. So it's like they feel less alone, and then they wake up in the morning and they know that, oh, mom was here. She didn't, abandon me or whatever or something.
I like that idea.
Okay.
I think that's great. And, if hearts is what, is a big motivator, that's great. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Engage your child in whatever that thing is. Mm-hmm. So have the conversation. I know it's really hard to be by yourself. So what would help you if you woke up and I wasn't here? What would help you remind you that I'm really nearby? Mm-hmm. And be creative about it. And they'll think of something. And because it's not our we can't really know what's in their heads,
Yeah.
right? And they can give something that's more meaningful to them, right? Just like any motivator that or reward that you do for your child, it has to be meaningful for them. Like we may have different thoughts of like, this would be meaningful to me as a relation. It should remind my child of me, but maybe not for them,
Yeah.
right? So, I love the idea of the hearts. Ask your daughter, straight out, or your son, like, what would help you remind you of me, that I'm really nearby. And maybe, if you should wake up in the night, remember mom's voice. It's okay. You just woke up and you can go back to sleep all on your own. Whatever it is, but leave them with that thought as you leave them at night, and remind them that they can pull up that thought again. So I'm jumping a little bit, but with guided imagery, as you're talking them through where it is, you can also give that suggestion that should you wake up at night, just know that I'm really nearby, and bring yourself back into that safe place where mommy is cuddling right next to you, and let yourself go back to sleep.
Great idea.
Easy as that. I can go to sleep.
Yeah. No, those are all really good strategies. And I think it's just important to note, too, while we're on this subject is, we are heading into back to school. Routines are going to change, especially for young kids who aren't used to going back to school. But really any life change that happens, you get a new baby in the house, you move, there's a death in the family. Like any of these things, I feel like really disrupt kids' sleep more than you probably realize. And maybe you have a child that's, having some struggles at bedtime and you're thinking, wow, where is this coming from? Maybe think about something that's going on in your life that could be a trigger, and just remember that you can practice some of these strategies, or just, that it'll pass. And, they're struggling with it right now, but it's not sort of, something you need to really stress about.
Exactly. I love it. So remember, everything, it shall pass. And I always was wondering, like, okay, but I'm in the thick of it. What do you mean it shall pass? But now that I'm out of the thick of it because my children are older, it really does pass. And if you allow yourself a few moments to just pull back a little bit and go, remember that really challenging period that we had with Johnny or Olivia, Claire, your child, and you go, oh yeah, it was kind of painful, intense for a brief period, but then we moved on. And it's not always all pain, right? We cycle periods it's just that our brains have a tendency of remembering painful moments, negative thoughts, negative things. But there are lots. It actually is a ebb and flow of joy and some struggles. So remember, if you're in the depths of the struggling period right now, there's joy coming right around the corner. And take a step back and go, okay, I know I want this to go faster, but I'm not in control of time. I know that this will pass. And maybe even at some point in the future, I might miss these bedtime cuddles where my child can't let go of me, because now as your children age, and something happens when they hit the double digits, they don't really want your presence in their room at night or anytime, okay? And then you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I need a security object for when you needed me.
The tables have turned.
Exactly. So enjoy the moment that you're in and the stage that you're in with your child. Some days are going to be rougher than others, but know that happiness and joy is right around the corner. Like this, you will not be stuck in this challenging phase forever. Although that's what we think sometimes, isn't it? We're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in the thick of winter if my child is still doing this? And, we're just coming towards the end of summer. It won't. It won't be the same in 6 months. There'll be something else. So that's a great reframe. I love it.
Yeah. And we got you along the way. We're here for the struggles and the joys.
That's right.
All right. See you next time.
Great. See ya.